Hello, everyone. So we're going to continue our discussion last time tungkol sa kinematic equations. So we're going to finish the two remaining problems na lang. So without further ado, let's begin. A van is traveling with a speed of 13 meters per second, and it slows down afterwards with a constant acceleration for it to stop because the traffic light shows red color. The total distance covered here is 20 meters. What would be the constant acceleration during this time? So, suppose meron tayong dalawang points. Okay, let's just sketch para di tayo mahirapan. So, kunwari, at this moment, andito si Van. Then, as it approaches to point B, bumabagal siya hanggang hihinto siya dyan sa point B mismo. So, once again, sa point A, at that moment, the van is traveling. Kumbaga, gumagalaw pa rin siya. So, dito, he has an initial velocity of 13 meters per second. Yan. Pero, as it approaches to point B, bumabagal siya at bumabagal. Okay? Until titigil siya sa point B mismo. So, from point A to point B, it covers 20 meters. Siya yung maging displacement mo. Then, dito sa point B, since kasi di ba titigil na yung van because the traffic light shows red color. So, it means that the vehicles should stop. Okay? So, therefore, yung final velocity mo ay zero. Bakit zero? Kasi hindi na siya gagalaw. Once it stops moving, it stops alam mo na, kumbaga, common sense, hindi na siya gagalaw. So yun. Ngayon, from point A to point B, it covers 20 meters. What would be the acceleration at this distance or displacement? So which one of the formula you're going to use? You're going to use the second formula because it has the final velocity, the initial velocity, the displacement, and acceleration na kung saan yun yung hahanapin mo. So we will use this formula. Okay? By the way, let me just write the given na lang para di kayo mahirapan. Okay? So given, di ba, meron tayong initial velocity na si 13 meters per second. Tapos meron kang final velocity na 0. Tapos meron kang displacement na 20 meters. Okay? Tapos ang required o yung hinahanap mo ay si acceleration. Tama ba? Wait lang. Ayan. Si acceleration ang hinahanap mo. So yun, we're going to use the second formula talaga. Okay, ito yun. Okay? So, i-erase ko yung sketching ha. Let me just erase this one and let's continue. Ayan. So, we will use this formula. Ba't ko pa pinura yung arrow? But okay. Vf squared is equal to Vi squared plus 2AB. So, yung Vf mo ay 0. So, you have 0 squared. Or, 0 lang siya. Because, overall, kung i-square mo yung 0, kung i-cube mo si 0, or lagyan mo ng exponent ng kahit ano, the answer is still 0. 0 pa rin siya throughout. So, we can just leave it as 0 na lang. Next, yung VI mo ay si 13 meters per second. Tapos plus 2 times A times D, which is si 20 meters. Ayan. So, square natin si 13 meter per second, you will have 169 meters squared per second squared. Okay? Plus, itong si 2 at saka si 20 meters, pwede ko naman siyang i-multiply. So, we have A times 2 times 20 is 40 meters. Then let's transpose negative 169 meters squared per second squared. Tapos, yeah, meron tayong A times 40 meters on the right side. Then, to get your acceleration, we will divide both sides by 40 meters. Okay, so meron na tayong negative 169 meters squared per second squared all over 40 meters is equal to acceleration. So dito, if you're going to get the exact answer for this one, you will have negative 4.25 meters per second squared. Yun yung answer mo. Or kung gusto mo siyang i-approximate into 2 decimal place, you will have negative 4.23 meters per second squared. Okay, approximately. Or you can have negative 4.2 meters per second squared. Okay, kung gusto mo ng isang decimal place, or kung gusto mo lang ng whole value or whole number lang, di negative 4 meter per second squared. Okay? So, syempre, pipiliin ko yung exact answer. Syempre, ito yun. Okay, ito yun talaga. Pero kung naka-approximate siya, kung 2 decimal place, syempre ito. First decimal place ito. Or whole number, ito, negative 4. Okay? Mas accurate kasi kapag na-approximate mo siyang 2 decimal place. Or ito, as an exact answer. So yeah, that's it for the number 6. And now to the last question. Omar rides a Ferrari on a long road. What would be the total distance when he reaches 3 minutes and a constant speed of 6 meters per second? So dito, let's try to draw point A to point B. So si Omar, he rides okay, he rides on a long road. Okay? So imagine mo, ito yung long road from point A to point B. Okay? So the thing is, we do not know the total distance, okay, like throughout talaga. But we are asked to get the total distance when he reaches 3 minutes. Okay, when he reaches 3 minutes. Suppose, kunwari, after 3 minutes, ito yung buong distance na cover niya. Okay? Ito yung buong distance na cover niya within 3 minutes. Okay, within 3 minutes. Alright? So we will use this diagram, okay, or sketch once the Ferrari drives in a long distance when he reaches 3 minutes. Okay? And at that time, meron siyang constant speed ng 16 meters per second. Okay? So, ngayon, let's write the given. Yung given natin dito is that meron tayong time na 3 minutes. Okay? Tapos, meron na yung constant speed na 16 meter per second. Ito yung tanong ito yung tanong. Constant speed, okay. Okay, constant speed siya. Does it mean siya yung initial speed mo or final speed mo? Or, in other words, is it your initial velocity or is it your final velocity? Ito, si 16 meter per second. Okay. Which one is correct here? Si 16 meter per second ba ay initial mo? Or si 16 meter per second ay yung final velocity mo? The answer is both. Bakit both though? Why is it that both? Both the initial and the final. Bakit kaya? Okay? Bakit kaya? Because kapag meron kang constant speed na 16 meter per second, anong ibig sabihin nun? The speed doesn't change. It maintains instead. Okay? Hindi siya bumibilis. Hindi siya bumabagal. Rather, it is what? In a stagnant speed or kumbaga parang na-maintain yung speed niya. Okay? Therefore, your initial velocity is equal to the final velocity. Okay? At yung initial velocity mo at yung final velocity mo ay si 16 meter per second. Okay? So the answer is both. Okay? Another thing here is that since constant siya, anong nangyayari? Diba? It doesn't increase the speed nor decrease the speed. hindi siya bumabagal, nor bumibilis. So in other words, your acceleration is zero. Wala siyang acceleration or to put it in the right way, meron pero zero siya. Bakit? Kasi it is not in one. Number one, continuously increasing yung speed. And number two, decreasing speed. Rather, na-maintain yung speed niya. And di ba ang job ng acceleration is what? To increase the speed and to decrease speed. Just sa question 6, di ba ang answer natin dito is 4.25 meter per second squared? It makes sense. Why? Bakit kaya negative siya? Okay. Ibig sabihin nun, na in a road, tapos babagal yan di ba? Babagal yan hanggat titigil yan sa traffic light or in a place na saan siya dapat titigil, ang nangyari, si acceleration ay negative. Okay? Once the acceleration is negative, it implies that it is what? Slowing down. Okay? So, ganun yun. Ganun yung si acceleration to this scenario, to this scenario. Okay? So, dito, nasa constant speed siya, hindi siya bumabagal, hindi siya bumibilis. So, dapat hindi siya negative, hindi siya dapat maging positive. Rather, zero siya. Kasi it moves in a constant speed. Alright? So, to sum it up, meron kang constant speed ng 16 meter per second, be your both initial and final velocity. And since we have constant speed, therefore your acceleration is zero. Finish. Yun na yun. Okay? Then what would be our required given? Our required pala. Ang required is yung total displacement after 3 minutes. Okay? So, what would be the formula we're going to use? We can either use the third formula or the fourth formula. So yun, either the third or the fourth. So bakit kaya third or fourth? Okay? So dito, I'll explain why. Okay? Dito sa third formula, our goal here is to find the displacement, right? So third formula, we have initial velocity plus final velocity all over 2 times t. So as you can see, ang hinahanap mo rito si displacement. And meron kang final velocity na 16 meter per second, meron kang initial velocity na 16 meter per second, and meron kang time na 3 minutes. So, pwede pa rin yun. We can still use it. Okay? On the fourth formula, meron kang displacement na hanapin, right? Okay. Tapos meron kang acceleration, meron kang time, at meron kang initial velocity. So, pwede pa rin. Pwede pa rin. Okay? As long as when the required is, tawag nito? As long as naman na sa isang equation, lahat ng variable ay given except one, which is yun yung hanapin mo, yun, pwede mo siyang gamitin. So, point being, as you can see, dito sa third formula, meron kang final velocity, initial time, at displacement. So, all of them are given except si displacement, di ba? So, one of it is missing. So, yun, pwede kang gumamit. At the same time, ganun din sa fourth formula, lahat talaga ng variable dun ay given. Si acceleration, time, at saka si initial velocity. Pero, si displacement lang ang wala. So, isa lang hanapin mo. So, yeah, pwede. Either of the two, you can use it. It's up to you. So, for me, pwede kong gamitin si third formula. I think that's much more simpler. Much simpler than using the fourth formula kasi mahaba siya. But tomorrow, okay, we use the formula, you need to be, alam mo bang bakit? So, wait lang ibura ko lang tong sketching. meron kang initial velocity na meter per second. Per second. Ay, sorry. Meter per second. Second, meron kang S. S stands for seconds. So, you know that seconds is some unit sa time, di ba? Pero as you can see dito, meron kang given time na naka-minutes. So, dapat magkaparehas silang dalawa. Okay? If meron tayong speed na meter per second, dapat yung time mo ay naka-second siya. Okay? Otherwise, yung constant speed mo, dapat gawin mo siyang meter per minute para hindi mo na baguhin yung time mo as minutes. Okay? So, point being, do you want to convert minute into seconds? Okay? Or convert mo yung second dito sa speed into minutes. Okay? The answer is it's up to you. But for me, ang gagawin ko is I would rather convert minute to seconds. Okay? So, i-convert ko si 3 minutes into seconds. Okay? Ko-convert ko siya into seconds. Okay? Para hindi na ako mahirapan pa. Alright? And plus, mas maganda kung seconds na lang. Okay? So, yun yung gagawin muna natin before we use the formula. So, itong si time na si 3 minutes, we must convert it into seconds. Okay? Since kasi yung speed natin ay naka-meter per second. So, 3 minutes. Remember that si 1 minute is just equivalent to 60 seconds. So therefore, we can convert 3 minutes into times 60 seconds all over 1 minute. So mangyari dyan, makakancel si minute. We will have 3 times 60 seconds all over 1. So our answer here, once we multiply them together, we have 180 seconds. Therefore, our time, we can just replace it with 180 seconds instead of 3 minutes. So magiging 180 seconds na to. Ayan. So yun. Now, let's go back. Gamitin natin yung third formula. Displacement is equal to final velocity plus initial velocity all over 2 times t, which is 180 seconds. So, we have the final velocity, which is 16. We have 16 meter per second plus the initial 16 meter per second all over 2 times 180 seconds. Okay. So 16 plus 16 meter per second, we have 32 meter per second, then all over 2, tapos 180 seconds. 32 divided by 2 is just 16 meters per second. Okay? Ayan. So, dito, we're going to multiply them together. 16 times 180, you have an exact answer of 2,880 meters. Yun yung sagot. O, di ba? So, yun yung total distance na covered ni Omar when he reaches 3 minutes. Okay? Now, let's try the fourth formula. Yung may 1/2. So, let's prove if they are both the same. So, D is equal to 1/2 AT squared plus initial velocity times t. So yung d, which is yung displacement, yung hinahanap natin. So wala pa siya. 1/2 times, yung acceleration mo is 0, right? So 0. Times t, which is 180 seconds. Tapos square mo siya. Then plus, yung initial velocity mo ay 16 meter per second. Times yung t mo, which is 180 seconds. As you can see, sa first term, we have 1/2 times 0 times the square of 180 seconds. If very closely, meron siyang 0 dito. Anything multiplied by 0, 0. So 0 to 1 half, 0. 0 times the square of 180 seconds. So in other words, this is cancelled kasi ang sagot nito ay magiging 0. Okay? 0 times 1 half times the square of 180 seconds, the answer is 0. So therefore, wala na to. Okay, wala na tong first term. Ang natitira na lang ay yung si initial velocity, which is 16 meter per second, times the time, which is 180 seconds. So what would be our answer here? So 16 times 180, we have the answer of 2,820 meters. And yan na yung final sagot. O di ba? So that's it. That is actually our final answer. Now we will stop right here because next thing na di-discuss ko is about vertical motion naman. Kumbaga, may application ng kinematic equation, pero this is in vertical motion. Okay? Kasi dito, kung mapapansin nyo, parang ano lang to eh, horizontal motion. Like, what if we drive a car, tapos we want to find the distance covered. Ngayon, what if, kunwari, let's just say, you're in a rooftop, tapos you drop a basketball ball, okay, from the rooftop of your apartment. Ganun kaya kalayo yun once it reaches the ground. So yun yung goal natin sa kinematic equations involving vertical motion. Okay? Or vertical dimension. Okay? So, yun lang naman for now. So, I hope you have learned something in this video and that is all. See you guys soon.